right. So I'll just introduce myself for those of you that don't know me. My name is Joy Hawkins. I am in Toronto, Canada, and I spend my working time with mostly local SEO. We work with lots of small business owners, and basically my job at Impresio Marketing is to kind of oversee a lot of stuff in our SEO department, and I also am a Google top contributor on the Google My Business forum. So I deal a lot with anything related to local businesses and ranking on Google. I'm going to go ahead and start on the presentation here. What I was going to be covering is some of the major changes that have been going on with Google Plus lately. Is the screen share okay there, Anton? You can see the screen okay? Yeah? Okay. Let me just...
It's for some reason it's kind of half. Yeah, okay.
Let me try.
Yeah, it's okay.
Is that better?
Okay, this one is fine. Okay, go ahead.
Perfect. So basically, back in November of last year, so a couple months ago, Google announced that they were going to have a huge layout change for Google+. And I kind of tried to highlight here some before and after pictures so you can kind of see what changed. So for small businesses that had pages on Google+, before there used to be all these tabs at the top. So you'd have like the About tab that would list their address and their phone number. You would have their review summary here. You'd have photos, and then you'd have a tab for posts. You'd have a tab for photos, a tab for YouTube, and a tab for any reviews that that business had left for someone else. As you can see now, it's really simplified. It's pretty much just the posts. You can get to kind of a bit of an About tab if you hit this tiny little info button that shows up beside the follow button. But it's very simple in comparison to some of the features that were there before, which unfortunately has left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths in regards to what small businesses really should be doing on Google+. So this is kind of like what Google has said about the change. At a small event after Google I/O, their vice president came up and basically was talking about how Google Plus is going through a renaissance of thinking of what is Google Plus for, what's the purpose of it, and their kind of conclusion is that Google Plus really is about connecting people that have similar interests together. They are not trying to be a catch-all social service. So my translation of that is they're not trying to take on Facebook. I know a lot of people compare the two. They're really not the same thing. Mike Blumenthal put it really well in his summary of the changes and basically said, just in case small businesses have not gotten the message yet, Google Plus is really not about business at all. And it really never was, but a lot of people tried to make it that way. And so his quote of business unwelcome, I kind of agree with him for the most part on that. So one of the biggest questions that people have for me is like, what happened to my reviews? People are kind of freaking out over the fact that reviews are no longer showing up on the Google Plus page anymore when you go to it. So we get this a lot of times in the forum, and the funny thing is the reviews didn't disappear. They didn't go anywhere. They still show up on Google where all of your customers would have ever seen them. People wouldn't see them on your Google Plus profile unless those people are actually using Google Plus. So if you own a small business, let's say you're a real estate agent, and if all your potential home buyers and home sellers, if they're all using Google Plus and that's where they're looking for your business, then maybe it's a bad thing that your reviews are gone. But I highly doubt that's the case. They still show up when you search on Google, as you can see here. For your business, they show up on Google Maps still when you use the Maps app. So it's really, they haven't gone missing. It's just if you were directing people to the Google Plus page, you're right, they are no longer there. But that is not really an issue. So here's the real question you should be asking yourself. If this matters or not, are your customers actually using Google Plus? If they don't answer that question, yes, really there's nothing to be concerned about because they were never going to Google Plus to read your reviews anyway. Even if you thought they were, they weren't. They were seeing them on Google Search. They were seeing them on Google Maps. Here's just a comparison. I grabbed this post off of State Farm's page. So State Farm has insured millions of Americans, and on their Facebook page they posted this on Martin Luther King Day, and the one on the left you'll see here has had like hundreds of likes, hundreds of shares, a couple comments. You see the same exact post on Google Plus. It got 6 likes, or say +1s, 2 shares, and 0 comments. And this is a national brand that literally, has thousands, or sorry, not thousands, millions of customers, and that's how much activity they're getting on Google+. Most of the small business pages I've looked at don't have any comments or shares or pluses or anything. Their posts just kind of sit there stale. I've looked at metrics for lots of small businesses we work with. I've looked at metrics on our own page for Impresio Marketing, and I can honestly say that there are just not a lot of consumers using Google Plus to kind of have the same impact that you would have on a Facebook page. So kind of going to the next thing that people always ask about reviews is, okay, well, if I don't send people to Google Plus anymore, where can I send them to read my reviews? Because you'll see a lot of businesses that are kind of like this one on the left, where they have these buttons on their websites. And the buttons on their websites basically send them to Google+. Like the URL goes to plus.google.com and it says, read our reviews. Well, that unfortunately no longer works. So there are most businesses, I would say, are still linking to that. So those do definitely need to be fixed. Any small business that's currently linking to their Google+ page on their website and saying, check out our reviews, they need to update that. Especially in email signatures as well. I see that a lot in emails from small business owners. So the links technically are kind of broken in the sense that the person will click on it, they won't see any reviews. So that is definitely something people need to be updating. So where should you send them? So normally I tell people, send them to Google Maps. So you see the screen on the left was our listing on Google Maps. I can send people here. It's pretty obvious. We've got the 5.0, rating star. You can see all our reviews. You can click to read more. I think it's pretty easy to find the reviews on the Google Maps version of your listing. This is how you get to it. You search your business name on Google Maps. You click the little share button. Then you can shorten the URL because it's super long. And you can send people that. If you want to read our reviews or if you want to leave us a review, go here. There are also a couple tools out there that I referenced here that will do this for you as well if you want to try and simplify it a bit. So that's what you can use right now to send people to leave your review. We hear a lot of complaints in the forum recently about this. People think this is too complicated and want Google to make it easier, but honestly, it takes a couple seconds, so hopefully it shouldn't be too much of a big deal. A lot of people are asking, okay, well, is there even a point in linking to Google Plus on my website then? If the reviews aren't there, and if you're not actively posting on Google Plus because your customers aren't on Google Plus, is there a point in linking to it? And I would say probably not. Again, if your customers aren't on Google Plus and your page on Google Plus isn't generating comments or shares or any type of ROI, then no, there's no point. Instead, what I would highly recommend people do is embedding a Google Map, because that will show off your reviews. So, on our About page on our new version of our website that we're redesigning right now, we have an embedded map. You can see our reviews, you can read them, everything's fine and dandy there. It accomplishes what we wanted, which was to highlight the reviews that we've got on Google, which is usually the objective of most small business owners I speak to. They just really want to show off their reviews and they want to get more. You can do that through embedding a map easily. It's a lot simpler, and therefore the consumers that are not familiar with Google Plus won't be taken to this platform that they're unfamiliar with and never use. Most consumers do use Google Maps, so a lot of them are very knowledgeable of the app and the way that it works and whatnot. A lot of people are confused about the reviews tab, because that initial business listing that I showed you on Google Plus, it did have a tab called reviews. And people were like, well, weren't my reviews there? No, your reviews were never on the reviews tab. As confusing as that might sound, the reviews used to be on the About tab, but there was a tab for reviews, and it's kind of like a hidden secret, I would almost say, about Google Plus that a lot of people are unaware of, is that you as a business can leave other businesses reviews. So how it works, for example, is that this is our State Farm agent that insures our office. So Impresio Marketing, as you can see here, left a review for Danny Franchino, our State Farm agent, saying, hey, we're really happy, we're insured with you, blah, blah, blah. Why would we want to do this? Well, a couple of reasons. First of all, it's activity on our page, which can never hurt. But mainly, anyone that is reading Danny's reviews is going to see our name. So it kind of puts our name out there. It also is a really great way to kind of get other people to leave you reviews. If I go out there and review all kinds of different businesses that we've done business with, a lot of times if they're customers of ours as well, like we're a customer of them, they're a customer of ours, they'll come back and leave us a review. So it's a good way to kind of share the love there amongst other small businesses. So for example, Danny is also a client of ours. And another example here is SecureU. That's the company that we use for our security system. They're also a client of ours, but we are also a client of theirs. And we went on and left them a review as Impresio Marketing, so that, you know, it helps their review count, but also, you know, hopefully they'll see it and maybe leave us a review as well. So there's kind of a dual thing there. But the instructions on how to do this, it's not actually all that simple. I had instructions done up as a blog article that I did about a year and a half ago, and unfortunately it's outdated with the new Google+. The instructions I have, they don't work. So I'm going to be redoing them. I actually wanted to have it done for this webinar, but we're in the process of redoing our website, so we're not publishing any articles until that's done. So I should hopefully have it up in a couple weeks. If you want a copy of this, just shoot me an email and I will absolutely send it over to you so that you can see how you go about leaving business-to-business reviews. It is something I recommend doing. You know, it doesn't take much time, a few minutes here and there, and definitely worth the time that it takes to do it. Photos. So this was another thing. People used to think, oh, like with the old Google+, it was really obvious how to change my cover photo and whatnot. Cover photos are kind of pointless when it comes to Google, because it's not, unlike Facebook, you set your cover photo, you know, that's what shows up when people pull up your Facebook page. It doesn't work that way with Google. They often do not pick your cover photo. So I'll give you an example here. When I was doing this presentation, I was searching Impresio Marketing and I noticed, oh shoot, it's January and our picture still says Merry Christmas. That was not our cover photo. If you look in our account here, our cover photo did actually have the one that we wanted. But Google is picking a random photo that was stuck under team photos in the Google My Business dashboard and choosing that instead. Google's notorious for doing this because they don't really like logos. So often they'll look for team photos or photos of the actual office building and choose to show those on Google instead. Why? Because they get better user interaction. People, you know, consumers don't care about brands as much as they care about a company's environment and a company's kind of employees and whatnot. So those are better photos for Google to show. They get better interaction. Videos. This was another thing that used to be big with Google+. So there was a YouTube button. You could actually connect YouTube to Google+, and for businesses it would show a YouTube tab that would show all your YouTube videos. Marketers loved this. They ate it up. They thought it was really cool. So that feature is now gone. So Google actually began to separate Google+ and YouTube back in August. They stopped making you have a Google+ profile to upload or comment on videos. Why? Because it was annoying people. There's all kinds of people that were regular YouTube users that had no interest in getting on Google+. And Google tried to kind of force them to sign up for a profile in order to make comments on YouTube. It kind of backfired because, again, like, why would you want someone to use a platform that they have no interest in? All it's going to create is a bunch of stale profiles that, you know, no one ever really uses. So Google, you know, got the hint and disconnected it, and so YouTube really is kind of disconnecting from Google+. Again, where can customers see your videos? Where they've always seen them, YouTube and Google search. So anyone, you know, that's searching on YouTube, if you have well-optimized videos, wouldn't see them there. They weren't viewing them on Google+ anyway. The feature was there, it was cool, marketers probably tried to promote it a lot, but honestly, in reality, your videos were probably basically viewed from either Google search or YouTube. Again, unless your customers are active on Google+, then maybe there's an exception to that, but if your customers are not using Google+, you don't have anything to worry about with that feature going away. Posting. Get this question a lot. Well, what about posting on Google+? Won't it help my ranking in the 3-pack if I post, you know, 6 times a week or whatever? The short answer is no. It's one of the things we get asked about all the time. There is a survey called the Local Search Ranking Factors that I contribute to, along with a lot of other really well-known people in the local SEO space, and no one listed this as a high ranking factor. If it was that easy to rank in the 3-pack, we would have a really crappy result set when we searched anything on Google. Bill Rozek, who's another really well-known, respected expert, said it's nearly impossible for people to see your Google+ posts now, unless they search your business by name. Google doesn't include a link anymore to your Plus page in the local pack. It doesn't even really call it a Google Plus page. They're like, do you really still believe in being active on Google Plus as a local ranking factor? It definitely is not a ranking factor. Why you would want to use Google Plus is, again, if you're getting activity. Same reason why you'd want to have a Facebook page. It's the same principle that kind of goes along with social media. If no one is watching what you're posting and no one is reading or interacting or caring about what you post, there is no point in posting. So you always have to keep that question at the front of your mind when you're doing that. So kind of, again, with the summary of what Google's changing with Google+, it's really not about small businesses at all. They've done a bunch of other things to disconnect Google+ from their business products. So they disconnected photos from Google+ back in August. In December, they also removed it from AdWords. There used to be a really cool thing called a social extension where if you had enough followers on your Google+ page, there was a little thing that would show up in your ad, like in this picture here, where it'd say like 700,000 people like your page, and it would automatically show up. That's gone now. They don't even exist. So that's obviously another indication from Google that they are really moving Google+ away from businesses. Another thing that is also kind of gone missing is the business description. So the business description is something that a lot of business owners I see, put time and effort into. You go onto Google My Business, and one of the things you enter in, you have your business name, your address, your phone number, but they ask you for a description of what your business does. And a lot of people think this shows up somewhere, and it kind of used to. It used to show up on Google+, as you can see here. We had this nice little description that said, we're an internet marketing company, and we help small businesses, and then even linked to some of the pages on our website, which was, I remember when they added that feature, that was cool. Like, ooh, we can hyperlink our description. Awesome. More links, which, for the record, don't matter, coming from Google+. But this, unfortunately, now is nowhere. That description does not show up at all anywhere. Customers will not see it. I can tell you as well, some people think keyword stuffing their descriptions is somehow going to make the ranking increase. It really has little to no impact on ranking. Unless you're in an industry where there's like no competition, putting tons of keywords in your description is just not worth the effort. So here's just to show you, if you kind of keep that description in your head, this is what Google search looks like when you search in Prezi Marketing. Do you see our description anywhere? It's not there. It does not show up on the knowledge panel to the right there. On Google Maps, again, not there. There is no section for a description. Nothing shows. It's just the address, reviews, phone number, whatnot. And then what we call the local finder. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the local finder, it's what you get when you click this more places. So when you do a search on Google that shows the map pack, when you click on more, you get this bigger map thing that we all call the local finder. And the local finder, you can hover over businesses there. Again, doesn't show the business description. So the business description is kind of, in a sense, dead. However, you will sometimes see descriptions showing up, which confuses people, because like, well, what about this? You search Starbucks and you see this little snippet description that is a description of Starbucks. Where did that come from? This is only really for popular businesses. So unfortunately, Prezi Marketing isn't popular enough to get one yet, but Starbucks, which is extremely well known, does have one. And Google writes a little short description that clarifies what the business is about. Those do show up on Google Maps and in the local finder. And they have a help article that talks about how you get them, but basically it's honestly you just got to be a popular business. I find retail businesses and hotels and things like that tend to get them a lot more than other industries like insurance or plumbers or stuff like that. So the next kind of part, I just want to highlight a few changes about Google+ that would impact any of you guys that do SEO for a living. If you have local businesses as clients and you're really interested in learning more about local SEO and how to help them, this is kind of stuff that would maybe more apply to you than your just average Joe the plumber. So duplicate listings. So this is a question I get all the time in consulting sessions we do with small businesses. They have no idea how to tell the difference between what we call a brand page on Google+ and a local and maps page. So just to clarify, Coca-Cola is a brand. So they can have a page on Google+, and they would have a Google+ page for Coca-Cola that would highlight all their posts and products and stuff. But they're not a local business. They would never show up on Google Maps because there's not local Coca-Cola offices all over the U.S. So there's a difference there. And Google had two different types of pages. They had what they call brand pages, and then they have local pages. Local pages rank on Google in the map pack. Brand pages do not. They're totally separate because they're not tied to an address. So brand pages don't impact local ranking. That's what most small business owners are obsessed about. They're obsessed about ranking that 3-pack. And brand pages do not impact that. They kind of have to be seen as their own thing. And a lot of people are like, why have this duplicate listing on Google+, and I need to get rid of it. If it's a Google+ brand page, if it's not connected to Google Maps, doesn't matter. So people get really confused about this, and there used to be a lot of visual signs. I remember Local U posted an article about it. I think like a year and a half ago, which I linked to here. And it was really obvious, well, not really obvious, but for those of us in the SEO industry, there were signs we'd look at to try and figure out, okay, is this page even important? Does it matter? Or is it just this brand page that's not even connected to Google Maps? Unfortunately, a lot of the visual signs that we used to look for don't exist anymore. So here's my new and updated flowchart on how to tell if the page matters. So when you go to plus.google.com/whatever, add a /about to the end of the URL. Sorry for those of you that just heard my Canadian accent. And see if when you do that, if it lists an address and phone number. So here's an example. So you've got this listing that pulls up. You'll see there under contact, there is a phone number, there is an address. So that instantly tells you it's not a brand page, it's local. So if that's not there, no, it doesn't matter. It's a brand page. So you would not see this for Coca-Cola. They would not have an address listed because they're a brand page. So if there's an address and phone number, there's a second step you have to do. Remove the /about from the URL and check to see if there's a verified checkmark. So that's what a verified checkmark looks like. If there's a verified checkmark, it means that page is connected to Google Maps. It matters. It will either help or hurt your ranking depending on how it's set up, but that page will or has the ability to rank in Google Maps. If there is not a verified checkmark, what that means is someone went to Google My Business and started creating a page, but then said, screw it, I don't feel like doing this, never verified it, and it's not connected to Google Maps. It doesn't matter. So actually the one that I showed up at the top there for Bronco Johnson Insurance, that is not connected to Maps. When you go to the step 2, you will not see a verified checkmark on there. So either it was connected to Google Maps in the past, maybe it got unconnected, or the guy never completed his page. One or the other, it doesn't matter. So you don't need to worry about it when local SEOs freak out about duplicate listings because they have such an impact on ranking. These two types of pages that I've got here that are red are ones that you do not need to worry about. So here's some examples. If any of you want to actually pull up these URLs, I thought I'd give examples of each of these so that you can try the steps yourself of what an unverified page looks like, a brand page, which has nothing to do with local, and then the verified local page. And sorry for all the different words. There's a lot of different ways people word these. For duplicate listing finding, for the process of finding listings, you're trying to find to see if your clients have duplicate listings. You do actually still use the Google Plus URLs, kind of ironically. I wrote an entire article about it that I don't really have time to get into on this webinar, but if you want to do further reading on how I look for duplicates for local businesses that might be hurting their ranking, I outlined all the steps that I take on that article on Search Engine Land. So brand pages, a lot of times people are like, well, oh shoot, I set up a brand page accidentally, but I am a local business and I really want it to connect it. Is it possible? We used to get this question a lot in the forums. Like, I guess people, again, don't really understand the difference between the two pages, so they set up a page on Google Plus and then realize it's not connected to Google Maps and they want to make that possible. So yes, there are instructions in the Help Center, basically that tell you how to connect a brand page to Google Maps, but unfortunately they're wrong. Someone pointed this out to me a couple weeks ago, and so at the time that I'm speaking right now, they're wrong. If you guys are watching this in the future, maybe they'll be corrected by then. But these are the steps of how you connect a brand page to Google Maps if you haven't already done so. When you do that, it actually causes the brand page to get verified. Reviews will show up when that page shows up in Google search. Your followers will still be kept, which is nice if you have lots of followers. You keep your custom URL, and the brand page is now kind of flagged as a backup. So there's some benefits to that. But for anyone that's referencing the help article, unfortunately, Google's in the process of updating it. It's just not updated yet. As far as what I think the future for Google Plus is, this is kind of the quote that Google used on their announcement for these changes. And they said really that Google Plus is moving about communities and collections. Community collections are the two features on Google Plus that Google really cares about and is trying to focus on. They're trying to focus around people, not companies, people, and their interests. So, of course, there was the mobile-friendly thing, which, frankly, I haven't seen really any difference on how it loads on my phone or how friendly it is. It seems to me to be the same, but I've seen others say that it's way better and faster. So that was one of their other things. But collections and communities are really what Google Plus is all about. So what makes a good community? So I am active on lots of Google Plus communities, and there are some that are amazing, and there are some that are complete garbage. So what I normally tell people to do is like, look, if you're looking to join a community about an interest. So I'm obviously interested in local SEO. So I'm part of this fabulous group run by Linda Bouquet called the Local Search Pros. It is amazing. I get so much information from there. I meet so many great people in there. She does a really amazing job in keeping this community. It's small. It's about 500, just over 500 members. I find smaller communities are better because you can actually read every post. So I get an email alert every time something is posted. I found this with a different community called Google Partners, which is more about AdWords. It was amazing when it first started in Canada, and then it expanded to the US, and it got like 20,000 members in the course of a couple weeks. Unfortunately, there were so many posts, I had to turn the notifications off because there was just too many emails to keep track of. So personally, I find smaller communities are a little better. But look to see if the posts in the community actually get comments. Like I've highlighted here in Linda's community, you've got like 5 comments on that post, 6 comments on that post, 7 comments on that post. The people in the community are actually talking. That is what designates a good community. And you can get a lot of benefit from being a part of communities from that are centered around the things that you're interested in learning more about. Should you even bother with Google Plus is a big question people have. It's a really great channel for finding news and meeting other professionals. So it's kind of like Twitter that way. Twitter, I see a lot of news articles show up on Twitter, and that's kind of a lot of ways how I'm able to keep up with updates and things. It's also a really great way to show off your expertise. And I do this a lot on my Google Plus profile. I have actually more followers on Google Plus than I do on Twitter currently. And it's because people in the industry I work in use Google Plus a lot. It's been kind of joked around that the only people that use Google Plus are either Googlers or people in SEO. There's some truth to that statement, but if you're in the SEO or even marketing industry, I really do recommend using Google Plus. I've gotten clients from posting on Google Plus, true story. So I do recommend it. I would probably suggest using it as a person and not a business. So if you're looking to try and join Google Plus and you're figuring out, should I join as my consulting firm, ABC Consulting, or should I join as Bob Smith? I found you get a lot more traction as a person than you do a business. People tend to ask questions easier and interact easier. So, you can still accomplish the same thing by joining as yourself, but that's just kind of been my take on it. And again, if your customers are on there, so, I find a lot of small businesses, especially the owners, or they're interested in learning about marketing, they are on Google Plus. So for me, it's essential. I need to be on Google Plus. If you want to further read more about the platform itself and kind of how it is moving in the social world, this is a really great article as well from Social Media Examiner that kind of goes into some stats comparing it to some of the other social platforms like Facebook and Instagram and whatnot. Really good stuff in there, so I suggest check that out. And then if you have questions for me as well, if you're watching this later and you're, I said something that you're confused about or need more clarification, always feel free to reach out to me and tell me your thoughts and comments.
Hi, guys, do we have any question? I had some momentary, my home had died, so I just got out and come back. Joyce, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry.
Okay.
Were there any questions for anyone?
I have a question, Joy. First of all, that was really, really good. I guess the obvious question that I think you probably get this all the time. So I have a client who has a business that's in the main city, and he services the whole city, but his office is like 45 minutes outside of the city. So does he have any chance at all at ranking in the 3-pack? He ranks #1 organically for like almost all of his terms, but what about in the 3-pack if he doesn't actually have an address in the middle of the city?
So it depends on the term. So the keyword that he wants to rank for, it is possible to rank in the 3-pack, but probably not for keywords that contain the city name. So I'll kind of give you an example. If he's a plumber and he wants to rank for plumber Denver, he probably won't rank for plumber Denver unless he's got a Denver address. It's virtually almost impossible. However, if he's relevant enough and someone in the Denver area, especially people that are like maybe close to where he is, just type in plumber, he will definitely be eligible to rank there. We have lots of clients in that boat. But obviously location is really important. I would say, organic ranking for Plumber Denver would be totally doable as well. But I have actually an article coming out, I think next week, on Search Engine Land that's also addressing that, like the difference between the two. If you type in the city name, Google's going to show results that are really in that city. Like you have to have an address in Denver in that case. But if you don't specify the city, then it's definitely possible that you could show up there with enough work.
I just have a quick question. Hi, Joy, and thanks for your presentation. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, cool. So my question is for, sometimes clients are entrepreneurs who work from home, so they can't really go and put their address in Google, Place and stuff like that. So what's the best strategy for them to rank for like local city, but without having their address shown actually?
So normally service area businesses are generally told to use their home address. I've got a lot of clients in that boat. They're like tree service companies, and they go and they service a big area, but their home address is what they use for their business. You don't have to worry for privacy reasons. Google allows you to hide your address. So it's not like anyone searching Google will see your actual home address or drive there. Google doesn't want that. They don't want their users to show up at someone's house. So you can hide your address in the dashboard. There is a feature to do that through Google My Business. I also wrote a guide on how to kind of market yourself as a service area business well with Google. It was posted on Moz a couple months ago. It's called, I think, the Introduction Guide to Local SEO for service area businesses, or SABs. So check that out. It's got lots of tips and stuff in there if you fall into that category, or your customer falls into that category. But the same kind of rules apply. You would still be able to rank in the 3-pack. It would just show your city name, not your full address, because you've hidden it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Do we have more questions? Okay, I'll check our website. I don't have this specific question, but we were talking whilst you go, you haven't been here. We're talking about Google Plus itself. I've done some poll, and the questions was you love it, you hate it, and some other questions. The most popular one was it's useful, was very badly designed. Mary. Amel, Joy already said she loves it, and well, was it right, Joy?
Yeah, I like the design for Google Plus. I have no complaints.
Okay, what about you, Mary? Do you use Google Plus?
I should probably. I kind of use it as necessary. I mean, if somebody tags me on something, then I'll respond, but I don't spend a lot of time on Google Plus.
Okay, so basically, what would be your answer if, for example, if I love it, I hate it, it's useful but badly designed, or I don't care?
I honestly don't care.
Okay, I got it. Okay, Amel, what about you?
I would say I used to love it. Just before they made the design changes, like a few weeks ago. I don't remember the exact date, but before that I used to use it a lot. I was really active there. I loved it. The community there, like they are really wonderful. Like you have community for anything you can think of. But since they made the design change, it seems less intuitive to use it. It's less, I don't know, something is not right there.
I would agree with that too. I like the older design much better than the new design if I had to pick between the two.
But do we really like old design, or we just got used to old design? So I got used to old design. I know all the buttons. So I got new Windows, and I hate it because it's just new. I don't know where to go. Or you genuinely think the new design is worse than previous one?
It's hard to say because I think the features they got rid of are features that really no one was using other than us in marketing. We're like, ooh, this feature is so cool, but like the average consumer does not use it. Like the YouTube tab. I mean, I don't think people are going to Google Plus, checking out businesses, going to their YouTube tab and watching videos from there. I mean, the stats for YouTube watching videos on Google Plus was really low. So I think 3, 2, and like probably aren't really a big deal. And I don't know a year from now if I'll look back and say, oh, those were good changes. At the moment, I could definitely just be used to the old design and kind of missing it. But ultimately, I don't really think it matters all that much.
How big is Google Plus? I don't mean how many Google Mail accounts. How many active users, more or less? Do we know?
Yeah, that article, one of the articles I linked to at the end there, the one by Social Media Examiner, it talks a lot about stats specifically on how many users use Google Plus. They have a ton of users, like a ton of registered users, and a really high number for a social media network. The problem is that a lot of them are like kind of ghost users, like they sign up for an account, but they don't regularly go in. It's not like Facebook where people go into Facebook daily. You know, they're constantly going back to Facebook. Google Plus is not like that. There are a small fraction of really dedicated users, myself being one of them, but outside of that, most people, it's like a ghost town. So there's a lot of empty profiles, which are probably clogging up Google servers. But yeah, the stats that were listed in the article are quite fascinating.
So it looks like Facebook is everybody's there, and it's just for regular guys. LinkedIn is it's kind of business stuff, and everybody says it's great for business. And Google Plus is just in the middle, which means I can see it as all SEO communities there. Even Mary says she is not. Yeah, so not all of them, but. Are there any big communities? I mean, kind of any particular industry besides SEO industry?
I tried to look for some to see. Unfortunately, a lot of them, well, for small businesses, there's a bunch that like there's one big one for realtors that has over 100,000 members. But I checked it out, and it's mostly spam. Problem with some of the bigger communities, you know, people just go in there to post thinking that they're somehow going to benefit from posting their content or blogs, but no one comments, no one shares. So that's what I look at for a community. I've heard there's some great ones for photographers on Google Plus. There's some great Google Plus communities about Google Plus. But for other industries, I think it's more like there's stuff for like hunting and more like interests of consumers, not really business related. All the business related ones usually pertain to marketing related topics.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'm checking our website. Obvious technical question. Your presentation. Will you share it with us, or you can send it to me? I'll share it with the public. Will it be possible?
Absolutely, yeah. So I guess the links won't really work with this,
okay,
right?
guys, then don't worry about that. We will give you a link to share to have a presentation. People tend to kind of be slow and asking questions when it's already gone. Is there any possibility if somebody got a question, can they contact you later on and ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe I'll put my screen back up, but my contact information was all on the last slide there. So anyone that needs to reach out to me, this is where you can get a hold of me. That's my Google Plus profile, Twitter, my email, my phone number. Like anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me there.
And my guess would be Google Plus is the best platform to contact you. Is it the case?
It does not matter. I'm active on anything that I shared there, so check my email regularly. I check Twitter regularly.
Okay, so guys, it was on the screen. It will be on in presentation, which we're gonna share with you, so you can contact Joy, and if you have more questions about Google Plus for local business or any Google Plus question, or maybe some other question. I'm gonna check again if we do have questions. Okay.
Anton, I have another question if that's all right.
Go ahead.
Joy, you posted something in the local search forum recently about a site that got a penalty because there was a 301 redirect or something. Can you maybe talk about that a little bit more and just about penalties in local search?
Yeah, so there's a kind of a difference. it's not really a penalty per se. So when Google suspends an account, so you go to like you log into Google My Business and you see this like crazy red bar at the top that says your account's been suspended. It's kind of a scary message. Not nearly as bad as like what you guys deal with, with Penguin or with manual penalty. It's not like that at all. There's two different things you can see. One is where they suspend the page, which basically just makes the page unverified. So this information still exists out there. You just no longer control it. Which is the case for lots of businesses, because there are more businesses out there that don't claim their pages than ones that do. So in that case, Google's like, you're spamming our system. We no longer trust you to provide information about your business because the information you're giving us doesn't meet our guidelines. So we're not letting you control it anymore. If you ran into that case, it's actually kind of easy to get around it. You just need to create a new Google account and reclaim your business. Like, it's honestly not that difficult. The other case is where they suspend the listing and actually pull it from Google. That's really severe in the sense that it's hard to recover from because your information would no longer show up anywhere. It's not like the warning message in Google really tells you which of the two it is. You just kind of have to look to see if your business still exists on Google Maps and if your reviews are all still there and everything. When they pull the actual listing altogether, it's usually because the business doesn't exist. So, all those fake spammers that try to create listings at addresses they're not at, or use virtual offices. I've seen Google suspend those, so they just they rip the information off Google because it's not a business that's real. So that's, a much higher kind of penalty in a sense. But really, if you think about it, you shouldn't have been there to begin with. So it doesn't normally happen to legitimate businesses. But I have seen it happen where, unfortunately, Google is wrong, especially in the locksmith industry. They're such notorious spammers. I've actually seen legitimate locksmiths get pulled from Google where they actually do exist, and trying to get those reinstated are a giant pain. I think in the case you were specifically talking about, Marie, it was the former one where they basically just, the business owner would have lost the ability to control the page, so the page become unverified. The 3-to-1 redirect, I think it's more of a security thing. Google doesn't, like, you could have a restaurant URL that forwards to like a porn site, and there's a lot more uncertainty there. So Google does not want 3-to-1 redirects. They want you listing your actual permanent URL in your Google dashboard. And if you don't, they will unverify the page and say like the information you're providing us isn't right. They do it for security reasons to try and cut down on spam. You wouldn't believe the kind of spam we see on MapMaker, like edits being made to both verified and unverified business listings. It's incredible, like crazy. I didn't realize that there were so many people out there trying to hijack and change information on listings on Google, but there's a lot of it out there. Sorry, that was kind of long.
No, that was great. If somebody gets some sort of a penalty on your local listing, does Google give you any sort of notification other than the red bar? Because I would think for the average small business owner who probably doesn't even know to log into the MapMaker or whatever, or Google Maps, and they just see that, oh, my business is not listed, I must be not ranking well. So I'm assuming there's no, like, Webmaster Tools doesn't show anything. I've never seen it anyhow.
No, you literally wouldn't see it unless you logged in. I don't believe they email alert, because it hasn't happened to a client in a long time, but I had a locksmith that it happened to last year, and it actually didn't impact his ranking. That's the funny thing. Like, his listing got suspended, he lost ownership of it. It still existed, so it was like it was the one category where Google didn't yank his information off Google. But he didn't lose ranking at all, like maybe one spot, but it wasn't like he vanished because his listing became unverified. And that's because verifying your listing really isn't a huge ranking factor. Like a lot of, those robocalls you get that are like, Google needs to verify your listing or you're going to vanish. It's all a big scam. It really is like the furthest thing from the truth, because if verifying your listing somehow magically caused you to rank higher, it would just be too simple. So it actually doesn't really impact ranking much at all if your case is the first one where your information is still on Google, but you no longer control it. Because the guy that I saw happen recently, like, he literally didn't move. All his reviews were still there. Everything was good. In the latter case, yeah, your ranking will completely disappear. Like, you'll be gone. But that's because you're using a virtual office, or you're creating fake listings, or you're creating listings for a business that doesn't qualify to be listed under the guidelines. I see that all the time. People create listings for their products instead of their actual business, and those would get yanked and they wouldn't rank. So if you're doing that type of stuff, then yeah, it's more like a penalty situation.
Right, so the average small business owner who is not trying to cheat the system, if they're not seeing themselves in the 3-pack, it's not because they're penalized, it's more just that they don't rank as well as everybody else.
Yeah, there's a myth, or I'd say myth theory out there, that there isn't such thing as a local penalty that's kind of like Penguin, where it somehow cripples you from being able to rank. I have not ever seen a case of it that I can honestly say is true. I've seen negative ranking factors and all kinds of stuff like that, but I have not seen anything that would make me think there is that exists. Such thing as a local penalty. But there are others out there that swear by it. I've never seen any articles, saying this is how you tell, or this is what happens as a result, or anything like that. Like, I've never seen anything written about it or spoken about it at like a conference I've gone to. So from my opinion, I don't think it exists. But that's my opinion.
I've never heard of it either. So.
Yeah, I hear people reference it though. They're like, "Oh, my client is a local penalty." I'm like, "What's a local penalty?" I don't know.
It's a parking ticket, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't seems to. Amel, no questions. Just kind of last question. It's it's not really a question. What's the future? What's the future of Google Plus? Is it gonna survive? Well, I mean, obviously, Google's such a big and rich company. They can keep it going, no problem. Obviously, they're not making any money on Google Plus, are they?
I don't see how they would make money from Google Plus currently. They talked about showing ads there at one point. Nothing ever came of it. I don't see it going away, but I mean, I could be wrong. I think it really depends on the usage, over the next year, I would say, because they have a small group of people that use it like crazy. So if it just really boils down to whether if it makes sense for Google to keep it alive for that small set of users, because those users are very active, like myself would be in that group. And I know a girl that's a lady that's a top contributor on Google Plus, and she has like over 500,000 followers, and she gets a ton of activity on Google Plus from her page. Like, it's really crazy. So people like that, if they are willing to keep Google Plus alive for their hardcore fans, that's really what it's going to boil down to. My vote would be, yeah, it's going to be around for a couple more years.
But Google obviously has such a strong position as the best search engine, and or they can, if they give some kind of advantage for Google Plus user in ranking or something, they can. No, you don't think they're gonna do that?
No, I mean, like,
it seems to be obvious. If I were Google and I would want Google Plus to be bigger and bigger, I would give, and I'm monopoly, almost, and my position in the market is the strongest one. I'll give, okay, if you're in Google Plus, I'll put you 5 positions higher. No?
That's what a lot of people think, but it would be way too easier for people to spam that way. Think about it, like, if that's all it took, everyone would be setting up profiles and fake plussing things.
That's what they want. That's what they want. Everybody would be in Google Plus. So at the end, nobody really gained, but Google, no?
No, the end result is really their users. They want their users that search on Google to find good results. That wouldn't happen if what you were saying was possible. It would just be a bunch of spam, a bunch of fake companies, a bunch of people that were hiring.
Okay, not much. Slight advantage. Just a little bit, couple of percent. No.
I've never seen it. I mean, it's one of the questions we get asked on the local search ranking factors, but like it's one of the lowest on everyone's list for what matters. I mean, people have tried it, but I've never seen it happen with a client in the 10 years that I've been working in this space. I've never seen it.
So you don't believe that Google would just use as a strong position just to give some kind of privilege, no? Yeah. No, it will die then.
No. If that was the case, then they would give people ranking power for using AdWords, and they don't. So.
Yeah. Okay. AdWords would not die anyway. So, but Google Plus is kind of well, no, we don't know. Okay. So then we don't know what the future. Joy said it probably will exist, and nobody knows. Okay, I'm gonna check again. No more questions. Okay, then and it would be it for tonight or for today. Depends on where you are. You're with you just starting a day. We're about to finish. We have viewers from Pakistan and India. They're already in the night time. Okay, Joy, thank you very much for your awesome. What's in Canada? What do you use? Awesome or brilliant?
Either works.
Okay, we have very interesting, very detailed, and very technical. Well, from Google Plus point of view, webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you girls. We have all Canadian community here tonight or today, yeah, for you. And thank you for everybody who joined us today or tonight, or where you are, where you were, what time of the day. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.